and it ties into that a little bit, but not specifically about them, is you had 2 veteran tackles, and now you don't. How big a hit is that in general, and how do you kind of move forward?
Well, we've got, I think we've recruited very well here in the last couple of years. I like our young guys. You know, we've got Justin Gilbert comes back. You know, he was our starting left tackle 2 years ago. Whether we move him to tackle or not remains to be seen. I like the athleticism of Ryan Doyle, Andrew Zeller. We've got Jake Wheeler here. We've got Nick Clem. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Okay. Obviously, you know, they're not going to have the experience, but you know, that's what I'm here to get them caught up real quick.
Do you have any kind of depth right now heading into the spring?
I would say just from those names would be that our 2 tackles would come from those people there. You know, it could be Gilbert, it could be Brian Doyle, it could be Zeller, it could be Nick Clem, it could be Jake Wheeler, it could be any of them. I mean, it's sort of a work in process.
No order ranking.
I mean, we haven't posted depth chart yet. You know, so it's we're all right now. You know, anytime I think you have it, you get back to day 1 and look at the work ethic, how we're doing in the weight room, how we're doing the AM workouts, what's been our our focus scholastically, doing things on and off the field the right way. Kind of go from there.
Is Gilbert been working hard and tackle this spring?
I'm not sure yet. I mean, I think he can do that, very easily. He's pretty versatile. I mean, you got to start left tackle. We played 3 games 2 years ago, and he was pretty athletic. I mean, he's gifted. Now, it's taken him a while to get the rust off, and given the situation last year to get the best 5 on the field, we thought that was the thing to do, particularly with Pete White's shoulder injury, which he's coming along now. We had him play guard, but I think he's got the ability to do that. He played center in the first game, as a matter of fact. So.
Is Pete White the only guy you'll be missing health-wise for the spring?
Yes, as of right now. Pete had his second shoulder surgery. He's got labrum issues on both shoulders, so he had his second one this past Friday, as a matter of fact. So I think he's rehabbing very well the first one, so he'll miss spring, and everything should be. We'll have him back ready to go, for preseason.
Is there any thought at this stage in the whole idea of best 5 on the field? Volper gets a look back and go.
Oh yeah, we're going to play the best 5. That's always a given. We're going to play the best 5. It's not. Obviously, you have criteria of what you like in a tackle, what you like in a guard, what you like in the center. But after a while, you're going to play the best 5. You coach them up. I think a tackle has to be, particularly your left tackle, has to be fairly nimble in his sets. Things like that. But it's best 5 in one play. That's always, I think, been a constant that we've had to find the best 5.
Any other experiments this spring, looking at this center at guard?
I don't think so. Bennett obviously played guard. I think we do a good job. Sal Conaway never played center before until he came here. He was an all-state guard out of Pennsylvania. And, he did a great job pulling him high school tape. Whether he goes back to guard, it isn't like they're all pigeonholed. They can only play these things. Zeller was a guard in high school, and very, very good as a guard. So we have some flexibility. A lot of our schemes are zone schemes, double team schemes that you run. So it isn't like this guy can only play tackle and he can only play guard. You guys in the back are quiet. I must be boring as shit.
Tom, what's the overall value of a guy like Volper? Not only what he can do on the field, but I understand he was the top pick in that leadership off-season exercise.
Somebody like, he's invaluable. In the sense that you've got a fellow. First thing, he's all academic ACC, second year in a row. He's in our school of business, which is as difficult as there is can be. A quiet leader, been in the fray, been around. Has seen different things. It's invaluable from an experience viewpoint.
There was your freshman class, albeit it's a little further down the road. Got an All-American in Mike Medeiros. Nick Brigham was All-State. Given your depth issues and whatnot, and I know you hate talking about freshmen, but do those guys look the part? Some of the eye tests and whatnot you're looking at?
I think it's always been here. I think Coach Hessel shares this. We give them a chance to, they'll give them a chance to make a splash early, and if they'll be in the 2 deep, then I think we'll get with them and say, okay, we want to play. Historically, the guys who played here as freshmen, how do I put this without putting the kiss of death on these guys? You're starting, the guys who played here as freshmen played in the NFL. That's Stephon Heyer, that's Jared Gaither, that's Bruce Campbell. You know, so I'm not saying those are that category, but I just don't think there's a more difficult position to play early than the offensive line, just given the physical maturation difference between a 17 and 18-year-old as compared to a 22, and then the speed of the game and just the complexity. And that doesn't, by any way, shape, or form, say that Mike or Nick couldn't do that. It's just that it's difficult. You know, they are exceptional. You know, so we'll see how quickly they grasp things and grow into their body. I mean, Mike Medeiros right now is 280 pounds. He looks like he's about 255. And Nick Brigham is exceptionally strong. Both are very, very smart.
How would you evaluate how Josh Carey did the entire year?
I think Josh had a heck of a year. I think Josh is a youngster who is a walk-on who's coming here. I think has been kind of the MO of the walk-ons here. We give him an opportunity and really work to maximize his talents. I think he follows the same mold as Paul Penninger and Andrew Grinnell, that type of thing.
Arnett, I know you got a little bit of a look at him.
Real excited about Deontay. You know, I think, you know, we had to give up future draft considerations and salary cap bonuses to the defense to get him over here to the right side of the ball finally. But once he kind of figured it out, I think, you know, you can just see his athleticism. Like, you know, the game that he starts NC State, you watch him pull, and it's like 3 or 4 times, like it's not real crystal clear what he should do. I mean, it's kind of in a gray area, and all of a sudden, he's on the guy. The ball's right behind him right now. And I don't know in the past that we would have been able to do that with a lot of coaching and detail. I think he has a lot of athletic ability.
When you guys were recruiting him, did you think that he was better suited for O-line then?
I don't think I was ever considered. I think it was a thing with, who was that former defensive line coach we had here, the quiet one? Dave Salazzo. You know, it was a thing where
he was the recruiting coordinator, and he got to say.
I'm not going to say what he you know, it was sort of the thing where Deontay. It just worked out. It's just one of those things where he came over, you can see it. He's got, you know, he's quick, he's athletic, and it's just a matter of you don't. They got to be positioned where they think, but they don't think. They can't be out there saying, "Well, I got to take this step, I got to take that step. It's this kind of block." You got to be way beyond that. So once you finally got that down, I thought it was pretty good. I think it's a very bright future with Brian First. Real excited.
How about Nate Clark? How's his development?
Good. You know, Nate was played there at Carroll, did very well, and really was perhaps more renowned for his defensive ability, you know, there. And then, you know, he went to prep school for the 1 year, and then unfortunately had an injury on the second or third day. But you can kind of see him, particularly this offseason, growing in leaps and bounds, you know, with everything. So I expect him to have a very good spring. I think, you know, to me, your spring or your freshman year is the first time you really, I think, get a chance to evaluate the offensive line, because, you know, they're just out there. It's happening so fast to them. They're just trying to, you know, which way's up, which way's down, and all of a sudden, okay, slow down. You've been here, you know the scheme, and now we're not getting ready to go play Clemson or getting ready to play Florida State. Now we can really focus on their development. So it'll be real interesting to see how these youngsters develop. As I said before, I really like how they've worked in the offseason.
Tom, you had a very inexperienced line just 3 years ago, and it was not the easiest year for anyone involved. This is obviously not the most experienced line. How do you compare those two at this stage of their development?
I guess it's a senior moment. I can't even remember who I had 3 years ago.
You're pretty fortunate, probably, right?
I don't know. You know, you know, these are the, we're not going to pick up anybody off waivers. You know, we don't have any free agency. And these are fellows that we all recruited. And we're going to coach them up and we'll get the job done. I mean, I think that's been our MO here. So, you know, I'm not going to, you know, cry and lose sleep and, you know, so-and-so's here and so-and-so. They're not here. So we're moving on. So these are the fellows that I have, and we'll get it done.
Speaking of scheme, what's it like working with Locksley again. How do you like his new scheme he's putting in?
It's fine. I mean, after a while, it's blocking. I mean, however you want to call it, it's blocking, okay? And there's some ways you're going to play. You're going down block, you're going to base block, you're going to gap block. I mean, it's obviously a good scheme. Mike's had success. I mean, we watched a lot of cut-ups that he had at different places and installing the offense, and it's good. It's very logical. It's very, very systematic. I don't know how you term Gary's. I don't know if it says full-scale one scheme. I mean, you could say Gary wanted to go no huddle and up tempo. We were very, I guess if you said anybody, we're very pseudo-Oregonish, I guess you could say. But I don't know if we want to be that. But we'll have elements of a lot of different things in our offense. I think we'll have pro offense with spread principles, so to speak.
How different is it for an offensive line to have a mobile quarterback to work with as a primary guy? I mean, I think you know what I'm trying to get at there without trying to. I mean, CJ's your guy at this point. So how does the fact that you know that you're going to have a more mobile guy going into the season change?
I think it allows you. It can cover up for some ills that you have up front in the sense that, well, you turn somebody loose. Well, CJ had this one here. You don't want to think that way, but you have that sometimes. We have this guy here, and CJ's got him, and we have that. I don't know if it's really much different. I think it allows you to do some different things on offense that you normally can't do, particularly with CJ. His outfit. I mean, that's a weapon. Pretty good. It gives you a little different dimension, I think, offensively, to use.
When you're running more spread, Tom, how does that change the demands on the offensive line?
Well, with spread in the sense that if it's one back spread, you're primarily your zone block and your option block, and and it's just a sense of just having everybody on the same page. What I found last year in doing this was the communication was huge, particularly with no tight end. You've got to ascertain, okay, who are the, as simplistic as it sounds, who are the bad guys? Okay, where are going to put my 5 good guys on the 5 bad guys? Who are we going to read? Who are we going to option? Okay, that's the communication that comes with it there. After that, it's zone blocking. And it's zone blocking, it's gap blocking. You get 2 backs in the backfield. If you want to run man schemes, you run man schemes. It's somewhat up tempo. You got to be in shape. You got to be pretty smart because you're not in the huddle all the time. It's amazing how the game has evolved to now, man. Now help me out now, this, okay? Like 15 years ago, 11 guys, okay, they want to play, they all go back on the huddle, right? Okay? They break the huddle, they come out, right? What is it today? Nobody's in a huddle, right? You got 10 guys on offense, all put their hands on the hip, they look over here for the coordinator. 10 guys on defense, they all look over here for the coordinator. The guys on defense have these flashcards, okay? 21, 32, pictures of a guy with beards, okay? Then they come back and they go play football. I mean, come on. I mean, they don't even huddle anymore. It's just a different deal, completely. It's what we practice, spread, and I think it's what you have. I mean, I guess if you don't block them, you read them, okay, which is okay.
Going back to your true freshman, is the reason why most first-year guys can't, why most of them do redshirt, is it a physical thing, as you were saying, or is it a technique, or just fitting in, or
it's everything. It's a combination. Okay. You're for simplistic, okay? You're in high school, you're the BMOC, right? You're the biggest guy out there, okay? Maybe you didn't need great technique to do your job. You were so much bigger than the kid you placed on Friday. It didn't matter. It didn't matter, okay? Maybe you ran an offensive scheme which was 3 running plays, 4 or 5 running plays and 2 protections, okay? Maybe you saw 2 defenses, okay? Maybe on a Friday night against a good team, you saw 3 or 4 defenses, okay? Maybe you saw one guy all year who was fast as you, bigger than you had to block, okay? Now, you come here, you're low man totem pole, you're not as big as anybody else, you're blocking guys who are always going to be as quick as you, You've got a variety of pass protection schemes where in this protection scheme you block this guy, but in this protection scheme you don't block that guy, but he's sitting in the same place. Or you play it this way on this protection scheme, you got these two. Now they did this on this protection scheme, now what are you going to do? Or on this protection scheme, this guy dropped and here came the corner off the edge, what are you going to do? Okay? I mean, it's just a variety of things, and you got to have an answer in 5 seconds. It's hard. It's a combination of different things, and the technique that perhaps the Coach Brattan is teaching you is different than the technique that Coach Jones, your favorite line coach, taught you at Northern High School, so to speak. It's just a combination of things that you have. Now, some youngsters that we get are very, very well coached. You're going to see the 2 incoming freshmen we have come from outstanding programs and are very well coached. You know, you kind of watch them on tape and you say, that's pretty good.
Good guys?